The United States Border Patrol has exciting and rewarding career opportunities with the nation's largest law enforcement organization. Border Patrol agents enjoy great pay, outstanding federal benefits, and up to $20,000 in recruitment incentives for newly appointed agents. If you are looking for a way to serve something greater than yourself, consider the United States Border Patrol. Learn more online at cbp.gov/careers/USBP. That's cbp.gov/careers/USBP.
I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Look alive, look alive, look alive, yeah.
Joining me after a little bit of coaching to make sure I say his name right, Jafe from Oxymorrons. Jafe, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just been home for a week after this Europe tour with Corey Taylor. So just adjusting to the New York groove, which is very different from the European groove.
I would assume so. Well, let's start off with that because we're going to talk about the debut album, Melanin Punk. But how was that overseas? That's a pretty big deal out with Corey Taylor, getting the band out there.
Yeah, it was awesome. We're for a band of our size and where we're currently at on our journey, it's pretty incredible that we got to go to Europe twice in a matter of 8 months. And
wow.
We went with Bad Omens earlier this year, and now with Corey Taylor, each time it feels like we had, the red carpet rolled out for us, and just got to, feel the impact of, especially a band like us and from New York and the States, over there. We like call it the Jimi Hendrix effect,
You're right.
You get big over there and everyone in America is like, no, they're ours. We like them first. And then it creates this nice little jealousy that just results in success. So
right.
It's really cool to just feel that. Yeah. And the love over there was just immense. None of us have ever been to that side of the world for vacation or anything. So to also experience it in that way, it was just I think for us as people in our lives, was just super important. Such a beautiful experience,
I love it. Well, congratulations, guys. And it just keeps building from there. And that's actually kind of what leads me into this. A group of guys, like you said, on your way up out there, pounding the pavement, show after show, that musical grind that so many up and comers go through and a lot of people don't survive. How does it feel now having the labels on it, the CDs out, the downloads ready with this debut album, Melanin Punk? How does that feel now at this point?
It's great it just feels, like we're crossing into a new level, and a new stratosphere of it, but it also isn't the end goal. We're very much still working and blazing a path, and we're really happy to have the support and the resources, such as from label and management and other festivals that we didn't have previously. It keeps us motivated and let us know that this thing is working and it's on its way towards success as other bigger things attach themselves to it. But the work ain't done and we ain't even halfway there yet. I guess it's the New Yorker in us, it's just always thinking about the grind. We're never taking a moment to smell the flowers. We're just like, let's go.
You son of a bitches, man. You never sleep. That's for sure. Well, it's super exciting. And honestly, everyone is in for a treat if you have not been exposed to Oxymorrons and their sound. And I will say, if I'm being completely honest, getting my first real exposure, diving into it before doing this interview, doing my prep and everything, and listening to the music, watching the music videos. And I'm not saying this just to pander because you're on here. I really do mean this. Instantly in love with the sound. Dug it immediately, and such a unique grabbing inspirations from different elements, rap, rock, country. I mean, there's so many things that you guys brought in, which from where you're at and where you guys are from there in that New York area, that is a melting pot. But I do want to ask, why does rap and rock, and after listening to your music, why is it so copacetic? Why does it blend so well? And you guys finding that sound, finding that blending together and making that sound for Oxymorrons?
Well, I think those two genres specifically have such a rebellious nature to them, and they sort of broke the mold of what popular music was when they first came out. And then had a chokehold on it for so long. I'd say rock and roll, especially from, 50s, 60s throughout 2000, and then hip hop, the way it's sort of become the one of the biggest genres of the 21st century now. So I guess the impact they've had on culture is really important. And then I think just the ethos and where they come from. Again, it was, the devil's music for rock and roll. And like gangster music and violent music for rap. And really that's just about just nonconformity and the general population of those times, like not fully understanding that there is a new movement happening.
Right.
So those two things have always been relative to us, and also on a much more than just what new metal got us, in a much more like literal sense, or to use an example of those two things coming together to sort of form this new moment in music. We always felt though that there wasn't enough of a discovery and like an addition of the rap culture into rock, as opposed to just like the literal I'm rapping over some metal.
Right.
Here we are, rap rock. But those stories being the stories that NWA told, that even Kendrick Lamar tells in this day and age, so many more rappers, even Cypress Hills during the 90s, there wasn't that representation and that authenticity to the culture and sound of rap in rock, in an effort to mix it with rock and punk and everything else. And we always that was always our goal to achieve, to just like take it. We feel, again, just to use new metal as a glass ceiling, and it's not a knock on its success, and it obviously has influenced us, and we love it. We always thought it was a glass ceiling, and it could be taken way further. And especially now in this generation of music consumer, the younger generations too, they are listening to a lot more of everything, and enjoying a lot more of everything. So, I think there was an interview Andre 3000 recently had talking about his Flute album. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but he said, we don't have to get into that, but he said, obviously just saying like it takes more than talent, and timing and who you're speaking to is so important. And I think the timing for us in this mission that we're on in terms of music and the culture of music to change it is like, this is it. This is the moment happening. And that's why it feels like it's working.
Well, I love it. And like I said, just listening to it and just all these different sounds and hearing the influences in there. That was such a beautiful explanation. And it kind of leads into my next thing. Do you find yourself maybe when you're writing, let's say that day, I'll pull from your examples. Let's say you're driving over to a bandmate's house and you're listening to NWA, and then you write songs. Do you notice maybe what you're listening to, if it's on the rap or the rock or the new metal side, pulling in maybe for writing that day, or what you're going like, now we have a song that's a little bit more rap leaning, or the other way around, you listen to Hendrix or something on the other day? And I wonder how that works for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't like make this idea popular. I know Rick Rubin talks about it a lot, but we very much believe in serving the song. There's very little like ego in our creative process. So like, just because I play guitar doesn't mean I'm coming up with all the guitar parts. Just because Maddie plays drums, sometimes I have, drum beats, and D and other people will sing different ideas or have concepts. And we just sort of write all together. And also just because the two brothers are the lyricists doesn't mean that every time one gets one verse and one gets a second verse. Right. It really is what serves the song best and what makes the song as best as possible. So we try and remove as much ego. But to what you were saying, like, to use an example, like Head for the Hills on our album is a song that I remember K.I. came over to my place and he was just like, yo, what if we did like a harder rock, Igor era, Tyler, the Creator? So I was just like, oh, that means like you sort of, let's start with like a dirty sub-synth, line. And then I can, but like take some of like the notes or progressions from something more metal leaning, and then throw like a kitchen sink beat on there that has like kind of a Jay Dilla thing that sort of, the timing is a little off and it creates a little discomfort. And then throw some rock guitars on it, and we got Head for the Hills. So
there you go.
It could start from such a simple little idea that, yes, it's like, oh, like Tyler, the Creator, or it comes from the rock side. There's even sometimes from like a Foo Fighters super hard rock chorus that we might even make fun of sometimes. But like, what if we did it? What if we did it in our own way, right? How could we make it? We even like to. We love listening to music that people wouldn't expect us to, or sometimes that necessarily I don't even enjoy subjectively. But there are such great moments in songs, like even 4 seconds of a song, that are just like mind blowing or genius, or like will just inspire you in some way. And you take those 4 seconds and be like, all right, I'm going to steal this and throw it into our formula. And you have something like unexpectedly new and cool. So yeah, we're always finding different ways to create, and it can come from anywhere and anyone.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.
I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Look alive, look alive, look alive, yeah.
It's so cool seeing that creative process, and we're going to hear more again because it's out now. Melanin Punk from Oxymorrons debut album, and you guys actually had some help from Zach Jones producing this one, and he's worked with guys like Fever 333, Pop Evil. The list goes on and on. Why was that such an important relationship to have him there for the sound you were looking for on that final product with Zach?
Yeah, I mean, we met him through working with Jason, Alan Butler of Fever 333. They worked on our EP Mohawks and Durags together. And we knew we could hold down the hip hop side, especially very well, like in production. But speaking to his skills or not, he just like understood. And he was someone that we got in the studio with. We've worked with a lot of producers in the past, and it was just chemistry, and it just worked. And it was just a no brainer. We knew it was fast. Songs like Justice, Look Alive, Enemy. Those are all songs that we wrote from scratch with Zach in a matter of 3-4 hours, and they were done. Wow. And that speaks for itself. And that kind of relationship, especially like between band, artist, and producer, it is to be honored, especially if you're doing this with honor. And the reasons why we're here and we're pursuing this is beyond just ourselves. So he just felt like a really important part of the equation. And when it was time to make the album, we knew he was going to elevate the demos we had already and ideas we had. And we were also going to be able to write some really cool stuff from scratch with him. And it was effortless. And that's something we didn't even think twice about it, or even once. That's what we're doing.
Do it. There you go.
They're doing this. Yeah, he's incredible, so talented. Obviously, his resume speaks for himself. But yeah, he's a great person. We love working with him.
I'm just so excited for people to hear more of this and be exposed to this now that's out now, the debut album. And again, you mentioned your EP Mohawks and Durags, which was out in 2021 when the world was all crazy. So you guys getting out there now with this debut album is really exciting. So I'm going to get a little actor studio James Lipton-y on you with this question, but I like asking, especially for guys that, are on their first or second album and on that way up and really growing and expanding and finding themselves. So here we are 30 years later, a handful of Grammys, a bunch of platinum records with Oxymorrons. How will you guys 30 years from now, with all that success, look back on this album, Melanin Punk? What's your mindset? How are you going to reminisce on this?
I think Melanin Punk is the first time we were able to, for us, the goal is to be, as a band, and especially with this album, to create a blueprint for future bands that look like us, that want to sound like us, that aren't as represented in these spaces. And not just for the cultural reasons, but like the way, we dress as well. And we take a lot of, and the way we present ourselves aesthetically takes a lot from both those worlds. We pride ourselves in what we call, we do not code switch. And there is a lot of code switching from Black and brown people in rock spaces, because it's a way to be safe. It's a way to feel safe. Right. And it a lot of times it's who you are, and that's a beautiful thing. But the main thing is to celebrate and be who you are at all times. And whether a scene or not supports that, lead with love and be proud of it. And so we think we're a blueprint that the future of bands can take even further. But a lot of people are in agreement that there hasn't been a band that's doing what we're doing, not just in sound, but in aesthetic, culturally, and like with the mission that we're specifically on, to take on the responsibility of representing a lot of people that are often not represented. I mean, we see it at our own shows and shows that we're a part of. And that light just go off in younger kids, especially younger kids of color, that are just like, oh, I can do this now. I just saw it happen and I can do it. And so, yes, the success of the band is obviously important. We all want to make a lot of money and win accolades and continue to have success with albums and tours. But that part is equally, if not more, important to us. And if we can change the landscape of music and culture by being ourselves and challenging all the conformists, then I think that legacy is going to be everything to us and much more important to leave behind than any other reason why people start bands, for attention and to be loved.
I love that answer. That was a beautiful answer, and I think that's perfect. The blueprint for future generations and musicians. A great answer. Awesome answer, man. I love it. Well, if people have not gotten excited yet, I don't know what else I need to do for you. Go get it. Melanin Punk from Oxymorrons. It's out now. And Jafe, thank you so much for the time. We are honored to have you here, and we're excited to see more from you. But we're not done yet. Hold on one sec, because
let's go.
Now that the important stuff is out of the way, I've done my due diligence. Let's have a little fun, and then we'll get you to it. So this is rapid fire. There's no wrong answers. All right, no wrong answers. You just go with your gut, and we're going to learn a little bit more about you. Let's start easy.
Oh no.
Mashed potatoes or baked potatoes?
Mash.
Okay. Disco or techno?
Disco.
A little surprised. I thought maybe you'd be more of a techno guy. All right. See, we got surprises now.
I like house, but
okay.
I'm like, depends.
Otherwise, get the bell bottoms out. Soaked jeans or damp socks?
Oh man, I have a crazy damp sock story. So
we have the time. Tell me. Can you tell me?
No.
I can't tell you.
It is not radio friendly, my friend. It is not radio friendly.
We'll have to save it for the next one. We'll get, or maybe
off record.
Off the record. We'll have it off the record. Oh my God! All right, go. Well, I'm super excited now about that. Would you rather see Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster?
Loch Ness Monster, because I can't run away from Bigfoot.
You can't run away from Bigfoot?
He'll chase me. He'll get me down. Loch Ness Monster, I could observe it and be like, "Wow, look at that wonder of the world, that myth, beautiful." And on with my day. You saw him from a safe distance, and everyone's fine. I do need to tell that whenever someone picks Loch Ness Monster, I do like to share with people that scientists do believe that it was just a whale penis. That is what. I read that actually very recently too. Yeah. Yes, I've heard of this.
When it breaches the water, you can see it's just a big floppy whale penis. That's all it is.
Look at that. Look at how a penis can turn into such mythology over centuries of time.
That'll never happen with my penis. I'll tell you that much, Javi. Never a thing of mythology. Beast. No, but last one for you here. One punch from Mike Tyson or 100 punches from the Where's the Beef Lady?
One punch from Mike Tyson, because we were working with Mark Orell, who's played with the Pogues and a few other people on the EP. And we were talking about how this song felt like a punch in the face from Mike Tyson. And what an honor that would be. Even if it knocked you the heck out, like a punch from Mike Tyson in the face, I'd be honored to take that one. I don't know if I'll survive it, or if it won't give me brain damage. But man, what an honor it would be to have a punch in the face from that guy. If I'm going to take a punch from anybody, just let it be him. I'm not. Now, again, this isn't about whether I survive it or not. The honor is in Mike Tyson.
Here lies Jafe, who died from a punch from Mike Tyson. I mean, you can't feel bad about that. You can't feel bad about that. Thank you for humoring me. More importantly, thank you for chatting. New music, Oxymorrons, Melanin Punk. It's out now. We really appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the love. Appreciate you, Rock.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.